Hello my fellow gamers and welcome once again to Perafilozof City Skylines videos. In this one I'll be continuing the line of videos where I build a better Belgrade. If you remember from the previous episode, I had started expanding over here and made a new residential, industry and commercial area. I also said that my services are no longer covering these areas if I want to expand, so I will have to make a new fire station, new health station, I mean the clinic, and a new police station over here in the center. There is one additional mod that I'm using from now on. It's the mod that allows me to use the budget more easily. This is called better budget mode, something like that. I'll leave the link to the mod in the video's description. In any event, what this does for me is to be able to control how much water and power I'm spending the budget on, and then be able to go into changing this without actually going to the budget panel. Pretty helpful mod, and I thank my subscribers for posting about it. So let's go up to speed 3. I do need to expand my industry as I do have a large demand. I have 18% unemployment, so I need to get a lot more industry for my teams to start working at. I over here have the agriculture industry. Over here in the middle I have the generic industry, which is at level 1. None of it is at level 2 because my education hasn't yet gotten to all my population. You can see that I do have enough capacity, well, not enough capacity for high schools, but will soon have, but very few educated teams when it comes to well-educated and educated compared to the amount of the uneducated. Therefore, my industry will not level anytime soon. If I want to make these teams employed, I will have to give them more open jobs. For that, I will need to expand, and let's see what of the natural resources do I have here. There is very little farmable area here, but a lot over here. So if I want to go over here and make some farming industry, agriculture industry, that's okay. While over here I could only do with some generic industry. Or I could build a forestry industry by myself. I already have one like that here. And if I wish to expand over here, I will have to definitely get some more industry. So what I'm thinking is, I need to first see how I'm going to get these streets to go through here. This is, I believe, a one-way. Yeah, it is. And if I want to continue with that, that would be going like this. And into that one way, I take these two ways. And then, this one got crooked. Let me delete it first. Better. Now in here, there is going to be a problem with the noise pollution if I place the industry right next to the residential area. So what I will need to do is use this area here as a commercial area. Let's say, I'm not sure would this be enough of room between the industry and the residence. When I take a look here, it seems that it is enough to keep the noise pollution away from the residential area. So one 4x4 area of commercial, and after that I can go with the industry. If I want the forestry industry, the industry which is not going to create any pollution, I will first have to use the tree brush to get some trees here. Then I will need the district tool to create a new district. The commercial area should go with the residential district, and I can use, actually I can't yet, I haven't unlocked the small business that comes online at 10,000 population, so that's for later. In any event, a new district here for the forestry industry to be built. Alright, like this, and industry all over the place here. Now I don't want any industry built on this one way, so this I will unzone. There we go, cleaned up. Can finish up here with more zones. Here as well, unless this district isn't big enough. Let me check. Yep, it fill it up. Now the question is, do I continue building up here? There could be a problem if I want to do that, because I don't have good enough coverage from services, and I think I screwed up this area here a little bit, because I see generic industry popping up where there should be forestry. Oh, right, because I then clicked the forestry specialization, but that should fix it. And one more thing, I need to get the water coverage to be over here. And what's wrong with this? Okay, should work now. Now it will be forestry industry here. This for some reason keeps popping zones, even though it should not. Alright, and that should employ a lot more teams. See, now the unemployment is just at 2%. These homes still have some room to grow and add more people. Their leveling process should be easy as long as I give them a school here for them to have coverage. Well, they don't have coverage by an elementary, but they do have coverage from a high school. What's going on here? Not enough customers? Alright, that will be easily fixed if I add more teams. To add more teams, I need to develop over here. That will require new services. I will need a new clinic placed here. I will need a new fire station. I'm thinking the fire station will go onto this street. Firehouse, I mean. And the police station over here. Although it does have very good coverage, so I could even place it down here. Like that. And now I can just keep expanding the road network over here and make sure to have more room for residential areas. These were two ways, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, they are. Over here, two way as well. Can keep going this way. While down here, I will need streets going like this in order to get a perfect zone. Double squares, 4x4 back to back. There we go. This can continue being commercial. And over here, residential. Now, I haven't been paying that much attention to this design over here, where I am keeping the buildings to be turned into a specific way, because they are low density buildings, there isn't much traffic, so I am trying to go easy by not spending too much time and effort into just trying to get every zone to be perfectly zoned. Like I said, I'm not trying to have the city be something that's effective, efficient, just trying to have something nice and cool, although I am keeping to the grid for now because I'm still earning money to be able to buy new areas, tiles, and expand. But once I unlock the high density, I unlock a few tiles, I will start being more creative. I already have a few ideas for the highway connections, and they should be far more interesting than in the previous videos. Because in those videos, like the road to 1 million population, I am trying to have the most efficient city possible in order to get to that 1 million population, while here I'm just trying to let go and play around with the game. Alright, so all the vents have been reduced, I have population still increasing. How's the garbage? I had used a recycling plant, super recycling center. I had reduced its budget to match how much garbage I'm producing, but now that capacity is no longer enough. I should make sure to increase the budget at least a little bit more, so that the capacity will match the amount of garbage produced. There we go. That's much better. The landfill is off. As for the power, soon I will need a new power station, and as for the water, I could already increase the budget a little bit. For the power, I'm also using another asset. It's called the fuel cell chamber. It costs a lot less than a coal power plant. It also uses some coal and some water, but it has almost the same output while costing way less and spending way less space. Now it may be a little bit gamey and a little bit cheaty, but the power, I do not believe it's well balanced at the start. Later on, when you get solar power plant, you pretty much don't have to worry about power because it's so cheap and you get so much for so little space. I also downloaded these modular solar panels, so I could try using these as well. You can rotate them, put them in any way you want them. They're modular, so you can have just one here, or you can have a whole bunch of them here. They produce 60 megawatts and cost 161 per week, but they do cost 12,000 to plop. The forestry industry seems to keep saying that they do not have enough workers, yet I have a lot of unemployed, which I find pretty interesting. And why did the commercial go abandoned? Not enough customers. Interesting. So I do have a large request for industry, demand for industry because of the high unemployment, but the specialized industry does not seem to be able to find workers of the uneducated kind. So my population is 42% uneducated, so that should not be that much of a problem, because the commercial usually require more educated population to work in them. Very interesting development. Alright, but more and more of the forestry industry now has workers, so it may be that they've gone over that problem. They do seem to be overeducated for working in the forestry industry, but they are also not leveling up. Or are they? Yeah, they've finally started leveling up the generic industry. So now they will need to be covered by more services if I want them to go to level 3. But to go to level 2, all they needed was more educated population. So that's happening right now. If I'm expanding here with more teams, I will also need to expand with more schools and more high schools. And this area has no elementary school coverage. I will again use the large elementary school. Now the question is, how much residential am I going to have here? Not as much, I think, as I might have had in the area up there. So might be able to go with the smaller one after all. Let's just see, where should I put it? I have kept away from this spot because I'm saving the hills for the unique buildings and the monuments, but this area over here looks like it could be used for an elementary school. Let's see its coverage. Good enough. There, that should make all those teams happy because they will have a place to send their kids to go to school. Alright, what is next? Next thing is to employ more of these teams, and to employ more of them I will need to build more industry for them. Now over here there isn't much agricultural land, there is up here, so either I go with generic industry here or with the specialized. I could take a look at the imports and exports. I'm exporting agriculture, I'm exporting goods and forestry, while I'm importing oil, forestry and agriculture. That's one of those things that's getting on my nerves. If I already have a lot of agriculture industry and a lot of forestry industry, why must I import those goods? Now I did read on the wiki that there are 3 types of goods, of products from the industry. So there are raw, half produce, half raw, they're called products. So raw products and raw goods, products and goods. What those products are is the products, items that come out from these industrial buildings. For example, in the forestry, you can see that there is this grove of trees. So that would be the first level, the raw resource. Then it goes over here to the lumber company, and there it becomes a product. And that product is then sent to a factory, a generic building of the industry, and then it is turned into a good. So what is happening is that I am probably exporting a lot of these products, but I do not have enough raw goods from these trees, and then these guys have to import. But they're only importing because they cannot send enough to the generic industry, because the generic industry does not require as many as they have. So what I should do is build up more generic industry and then build up more of the commercial buildings to spend those goods that are produced, and that should lead to a more balanced city. Now up here I had one ways going left to right, left to right. Well, over here I have two ways. It will be interesting to see how that works out on the difference alone. Let's see, new commercial area, and now no more forestry industry, but generic industry. Alright, and this area here should be expanded, as this is residential and commercial. Although I'm not sure, did I use... Alright, and there was the subscriber who said I could call this area the old slave fort. Although I'm not really into slavery and don't condone such behaviors, so I'm going to stay away from using names like that. This is interesting. Watch these trees here as I move the camera around. Interesting popping effect. So the distance detail must be very low for the trees to change shape like this from just me moving the camera around. That's pretty annoying. I guess they had to do some compromises to allow so many buildings to be in the screen at the same time. But let's stop talking about that stuff and concentrate on building a new industrial area right here. And they really could have added a square tool for the districts. I mean, if the buildings are square, why give me a circular tool for designing the districts? Pretty annoying indeed. So 4x4, another 4x4, and another. How is my employment, or should I say unemployment, at 9%? So these industrial buildings should make all the teams employed. I haven't taken a look at my taxes lately, so 10, 10, 10, that's okay. Plenty of power, plenty of water. I could even reduce the power budget, but no need. I am having a good income at around 8,000. Let me just check the services coverage. I don't think I have good death care coverage down here. Yeah, didn't think so. The crematorium is unlocked at 16,000 population, yet the better crematorium, the one that comes as an asset, is unlocked much sooner. It costs a lot, and it would allow me to stop using a cemetery if I were to use it over here. So I'm thinking I might as well use this crematorium and stop using the cemetery. I mean, the cemeteries are a nice touch to the city, but if you run it a long time, it's going to become more of a problem. And you're just going to be annoyed at the amount of cemeteries that you have to build. So I'd rather go with just a crematorium. I'll turn off the cemetery, or actually I should empty it first to be able to bulldoze it. I mean, the cemeteries would give the city some character, but at some point you would end up with so many cemeteries that it would just stop being interesting or good to see so many in one city. Because the age of the teams when they die is 8, and if you run a city for 50 years, you can imagine how many teams would be dead by then and need to be buried. So the number of customers in the building is low. Now there's just one way of fixing that, to get more population. So this emptied pretty quickly, can be bulldozed. I can put back some commercial and some residential here. Alright, so you say that you need more shoppers, that means more population. Let's get that. I can get more population here, we just need another road here. Nope, there we go. More residential zone here, more commercial goes here, and more residential goes here, and this then gets enveloped by this district. I have plenty of commercial, so having double lines here seems to be more than I even need. I could maybe get rid of some commercial. But then again, if I switch over to high density at some point, it's probably not going to be enough, so maybe better to leave it as it is at the moment. So how is the employment? 7%. I could have more industry. There's plenty zone here and it hasn't gone up yet, so that's fine. Power and water seem to be fine. I could speed up the game. Actually, I should take a look at the garbage capacity and budget. Should be increased to 90%. And I could take a look at this building. What does it say? Garbage reserves 50,000. Process rate 130,000 per week. Garbage trucks in use 5. This could potentially become a problem if this building cannot process, because it says at 90% budget it can have the capacity of 130,000 per week. That's what it says here, and I am producing at the moment 125, so I can push this another 10%, go up to the full capacity of 160,000 per week, and then I will have to buy a new one. The good thing about the super recycling center is that it does not create the pollution that the incinerator creates. It does not create the power, but then again that power is way too expensive. You just get 12 megawatts for 1,440 per week for just 12 megawatts. What's up with the industry? Says it needs more workers. In that case, I need to expand more in the residential departments. If I were to expand up here, I would need to move the one-ways, and if I want to expand down here, I would need to expand over here with the residential. Well, when I take a look at how much space I have here for industry, I might as well expand the residential area over here. Still would need to move the one-way over here further away, or maybe not, because these are two ways that are connecting here. And I don't even need to add any commercial here. This hill here is only half on this side, so I might as well add some more residential here. I will leave this spot here if in case I gain a higher demand for commercial. So this will be a more residential area. It's covered by both death care and healthcare, by police, by fire. Now I haven't built any new parks lately, so this area here isn't covered by parks. I should get at least one, for example, over here somewhere. And then I can get one more up here. The 4x8, the one that is an asset from the workshop, fits perfectly into this area. Not that good of coverage over here. I could add another park here if I could find a spot. Not much space here for a park. I guess I could take out some of the shops for a park. like this. There we go. Great coverage. The industry is going abandoned, probably not enough workers, but that's understandable and expected. What's with you? Too few services. Interesting. Why don't you just simply level up like this industry has? Maybe I don't have enough high schools? Nope, I do have enough high schools, but I don't have high school coverage over here. And if I want this area to level up and for the industry to level up, I'll probably need to add a high school here. Guess it can go here. The funny thing is that the industry and offices will sometimes require the actual area coverage and not just the workers inside of the building. They will also say not enough services, and they will consider a building like an educational building a service. Pretty annoying, I know, but it is what it is. Finish up this expansion here. I do not have this generic industry covered as a district. I might as well have that covered right now. Now, what to name this? I'm going to call it Smelly and Dirty. As for the residential area over here, it's called the Various Rest, and for the trees over here, what did I call this one? Tree line of oak. So the line of oak version 2. And over here, instead of this name, the generic industry will be called dark and damp. If I misspell anything, you are free to correct me in the comment section and also give me ideas for more district names. I don't see any problems with the traffic, and I do see a lot of dinging, which means a lot of leveling is going on, which is great. I do have a lot of open jobs, and that is why I have a high demand for residential. I will need to expand, and if I want to expand, I will have to go up here into these areas, move the one-way road from over here to all the way to the edge of the map, and then expand the residential area. Well, I might not have balanced out how much industry I have per area to fit how much residential I have, but that's fine. I'm just trying to gain as much money as I can before I start expanding and start doing something more interesting than just grids of RCI. Well, I think this will be all for this episode. Thank you all for watching, and please stay tuned for more.